win totals. A Texas win total at FanDuel Sportsbook is over 9.5 minus 200. So I guess the conversation, unless somebody wants to say they're going under and they've got 9-3 for the Longhorns this year, let's see exactly what we think the final record will look like. Tom, why don't you get us started?
I want to point out that on yesterday's show, we covered 8 teams, and I was over on 6 of them, which means that there has to be under somewhere. And one of them's right here. I'm one of the people on the under 9.5 for Texas. Listen, you're starting the year on the road against Ohio State. I know Ohio State has questions. Texas has the same questions. They've got a new starting quarterback. They've got new guys on the lines of scrimmage. It's no different than Ohio State, except Ohio State is at home. I think the Longhorns are far more likely to lose that game than win it. You're on the road against Florida. That could be tough. You're on the road against Georgia. That's going to be tough. We saw what Georgia did to them twice last year. So if I have them losing on the road to Ohio State and on the road to Georgia, is it that out of line to think that they could lose one of their other 10 games? I don't think so. I think that the floor is probably, you're in playoff contention until the very end of the season, depending on how things go and how healthy you are. But what if you don't have great replacements on the offensive line? What if they're not ready? What if your defensive line having to replace like your tackles for 2 straight years, both of which were elite both seasons? What if they're not as elite? What if it's just a very good defensive line? You're facing it every single week. It's not the same advantage that you would have had in the Big 12. So I don't think 9-3 is very much out of line here. I think it's more likely than 10-2. I'm going under.
I'm going over. I think there's enough talent on this team to where San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas are automatic wins. I don't think there's any chance they lose those games as long as Arch stays healthy, which obviously with almost any of these teams, if you lose a quarterback, it's a different deal.
I mean, even if it's Owens.
No, I bet you Dia starts day one when he's there.
But Dia's not there. I'm saying like if
That's
Arch – if Arch, okay. So you think that the games that you just listed, if they have to go to Kentucky or Mississippi State with Owens, you still think that those should still be wins?
No, I think those become losable.
Wow.
I think it's a real drop off. So really, to me, this boils down to, I think you have a defense that could be the best defense in the SEC and could be the best defense in the country for that matter. If you're the best defense in the SEC, you got a pretty good shot at being the best defense overall. Can you go 3-2 at Ohio State, at Florida, Oklahoma neutral, at Georgia, host Texas A&M? And I think you can.
You also go 2-3.
Texas. Like I think Arch is probably pretty good. I think the defense is really good. I need the O-line to stay healthy.
So I'm a sucker for value plays, right? Kind of fade the public type of plays. But I am not going to take the under 9.5 wins at plus 158. But I will take plus 220 to miss the playoffs. Which I think is a better value if you like the under plus 220 to miss the playoffs, which is a bet that I think at that value is one worth taking. I am very leery. I think Arch is going to be good. And if he's great, they're national champions. They live up to the preseason hype, and he might be a Heisman candidate. I just think it's going to be a little bit bumpy, and I don't know where it comes. I don't know if there's a game in there. It's hard to pick which ones. I do have him losing at Ohio State, so like I feel like that's one you get off, 0-1 start. Florida game is tricky. We talked about Brent Venables taking over the defense. Rivalry game. I know it was completely lopsided last year. I don't know if that's one of those toss-up games. They still haven't beaten Georgia. They were 0-2 against them last year, so I've got them losing that one. Just keep an eye out for the Aggies.
Minus 220 to what?
To miss the playoffs.
Plus 220 to miss the
plus 220. I'll say there's okay, yeah.
Plus 220 because you can only get for FanDuel to go under 9.5 wins, it's plus 158. So I'd rather say if you're going to
I think they're in at 9-3.
I don't know if they are. Not with this schedule.
Depends who the 3 are.
SEC hype, ESPN pushing this game at Ohio State. You keep a couple of these marquee matchups close.
If you're going to make the same,
if you lose to Ohio State, Florida, and Georgia, your best win is Oklahoma or A&M.
Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and ESPN will hype up Arkansas or Mississippi State or Kentucky.
So you
Watch
think
that.
Texas would get the
But
treatment?
ESPN did that all last year, and guess what? Their 9-3 teams didn't get in.
Yeah, but Alabama got their shit kicked in by Oklahoma late in the schedule and didn't have a marquee quarterback.
I don't
This is
think a
Arch
9-3
Manning.
Texas gets. It depends who the 3 losses are.
Right.
I think 9-3 is a pretty good chance Texas gets in.
There could be carnage across. There could be a lot of teams
Yeah.
that are 9-3. You know.
I think it also depends on how things go in the ACC and Big 12.
Yeah.
Like if Clemson and Miami are both 10-2, and the Big 12's got a couple of maybe 11-1 and a 10-2 team, then I don't think Texas gets in at 9-3.
And we're going to know the Big 12 stuff pretty early in the year.
Because of all the ways that they're playing each other.
Well, the
early in the year?
non-conference stuff, like, if Auburn goes and beats Baylor, if Missouri lays over Kansas, like what marquee game is the Big 12 winning?
Right. I see what you're saying.
Like
But
at that point, you kind of need Cincinnati to beat Nebraska, which is possible. They're under a touchdown dog.
Texas Tech and Kansas State, neither one of them have like a super high profile
Mm-hmm.
non-conference game, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Kansas
Nor
State play
does
Mizzou
Arizona
this year?
State. They have Mississippi State.
No, Kansas is playing Mizzou.
There's an assumption too. I hear way too many times that they're going to get better quarterback play this year. Like, oh, it's just going to be better. Quinn Ewers made some big throws in critical games. And if you're picking them one-on-one, like if it's your Sandlot, you're picking a quarterback, you're taking Arch every single time. But there is a process to get to that point.
Did you watch the Dolphins-Bears preseason game, Danny?
Yeah, it was awful.
How did Quinn look?
But he looked really good in practice when it was against he didn't get tackled. That offensive line was brutal.
He looked. Yeah, that was for sure not helping, but oh my God.
It was ugly.
It was, and it also brought out the Arch couldn't beat out this guy. How good is Arch?
Arch would have looked just as bad the way that offensive line was performing for the Dolphins at that point.
Listen, your correct analysis does not help the narratives. The narrative cycle is then going to lead to Arch playing awesome and people saying that Sark screwed themselves out of a national championship by playing Quinn. That's how we're going to do the full like backflip here. I've got Texas over, and when I looked at the schedule, I got disgusted at how uninteresting these games are going to be. I mean, there is going to be a large portion of the Texas Longhorns football schedule where we are going to talk about them because they're probably going to be a top 5 team. And on Saturday night, it's going to be like, specifically San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston. I mean, it's going to be really tough for us to feel like we're going to learn anything more about this team until they get into SEC play. And so I have always said that the Ohio State-Texas game, I'm going to treat on an island. I will learn a lot about these teams, but I will not make definitive judgments about either team, win or lose, no matter the score or margin, because they are both going to have so much opportunity to grow and improve and change by the time they might meet again in the college football playoff, which a lot of us had in our projected brackets as we were playing them out. So I just think we're going to have this massive opener, and then Texas is just going to roll the balls out there with a spring game offense and just crush a couple teams in a row. And then we'll finally get to learn what they're all about a little bit later into October.
Fast forward 3 weeks from now when Chip is declaring the winner of that game your national title. Your champion.
100%. I have
It's
promised,
over. It's a wrap.
I have promised overreactions from that game. I will deliver overreactions from that game.